Hi guys, and welcome to this edition of the Unofficial Community Manager's Diary. Thank you very much for watching. Now this week I'm going to talk about just two things. The first of them is the Indiegala bundle, which was released this week, and the second of them is Update 9. Now, as you've no doubt noticed, I've not gone for a green screen this week, and the reason behind that will become very apparent later on in the video. So what I'm going to do is take the best question from the last video I put out, read it out and answer it, and that person will receive a copy of Interstellar Marines. And of course, with the next video, I will do the same for comments from this video. So if you do have a question or a comment, please put it in YouTube. I'll read the best one out next time, and that person will win a copy of Interstellar Marines. So the question this week comes from Dexter Illusion, and he's asked, will we have Steam OS or Linux support? Yes, we will. We are fully committed to this. We said we want to try and get it in during the first half of this year, and so far we are on track. But I will say it's up on our store page, it's up on our website. We will have Linux support in the future, so rest assured on that one. And as I said, anybody else, if you've got a question, you've got a comment, please put it in the comments of this YouTube video. The best one I'll read out next week. So let's talk about Indiegala. This week's been absolutely brilliant. No, hold on, this week's been crap. Do you ever wake up sometimes in the morning and you've got that feeling that something really bad's gonna happen? Well, I woke up like that on Wednesday morning, and when I got up, walked the dog, checked my messages, and I realised that a good friend had done something stupendously stupid. But I thought, okay, well, I've woken up thinking something bad's going to happen today, something bad has happened. Hey, at least my bad news radar is working really well. Yeah, it turned out that wasn't the thing that I'd woken up worrying about. Wednesday afternoon, our time, we went live on Indiegala. Now, in case you're not aware of it, the Indiegala bundle, like your typical bundle, you had the regular bundle, which was in there, we had the regular version of Interstellar Marines, and the minimum price you could pay for that is $1. And then there's a higher bundle, and for the first 12 hours or so, that was a minimum price of $3.99, and with that you got the Spearhead version. But actually, you didn't get the Spearhead version, you got the Spearhead and the regular version. So in actuality, you got 3 keys. And that was down to a miscommunication between us and Indiegala. Now, we went into that bundle with the express reason of supporting charity. There is no other reason to do it other than maybe try and get a little bit of PR perhaps. But the reason behind it was charity. When a developer goes into a bundle, there is basically no money to be made because the amounts of the bundle are so low. Then that's split between whether the people who run the bundle, charities, or other developers. Then you've got the chunks of money that the processors take out. And you kind of get to the point where it just basically, from a financial point of view, it is basically not worth it. At least if your game is still active. Now, it is worth it from a financial point of view if your game is maybe quite old, which is why you find a lot of older games in bundles, or perhaps it's coming to the end of its life and you then want to have one last hurrah with the game and you're moving on to something different. The other reason for doing bundles like this is to get players into the game. And I remember, for example, when Natural Selection 2 went into a bundle, for the first 2 or 3 weeks after that, I thought I was a god. I mean, I was coming out top of servers, I was getting best player, and then all those new players dissipated away and I was back to my normal middle ranking. The point here being that we sit on about 5 to 6 months worth of funding. We don't need to make a cash grab, and even if we did, doing it in a bundle isn't the way for us to do it. Secondly, we are seeing, as every update comes out, the number of players that play Interstellar Marines are rising, which is perfectly natural. That's because with a regular game, you release a game and then the player numbers drop off. With an early access game, you release an early version of it, you keep adding new features, you keep adding new content, which brings in new players who buy the game, but also brings back players who have already bought the game and want to say, oh, something new, let's try it out. So we are naturally, organically increasing the number of people playing, and that will carry on. So we don't want people, hundreds of people or thousands of people to buy the game right now, because they will look at it and say, yeah, it's a basic multiplayer shooter, why am I interested in this? They won't understand it's an early access title in the early days of development that will become something massive, but not for some time. So there is no reason other than charity for us to go ahead and take part in the Indiegala bundle. And we've explained this as much as we can on the forums, and I'm hoping that if any of you still don't believe us and are watching this video, that I hope you look into my eyes right now and believe that what I'm saying is that is the only reason we did it. Because believe me, if we knew how much crap we will take on the forums over the last, 24, 48 hours, we sure as hell wouldn't have done it. And this has set us back in community relations quite some distance. And it's also hit the morale of the team pretty hard as well. It's not been very pleasant, and doubly so because it's entirely self-inflicted. And it's something that we should have seen and should have realised. But we just thought, let's do something good. And this is what happened. Anyway, now there's been some talk about perhaps rewarding people who bought from Steam or from our website. Now, initially that looks like a really good idea. Unfortunately, there are some reasons why that can't be done, but I'll just take you through a few of them. First of all, there's no way within the access that we have of Steam of seeing who bought from where, because they're all Steam keys. We also can't tell when somebody purchased. So we can't find, for example, somebody who bought on Indiegala or somebody who bought somewhere else. All that we can see is you've either got a Spearhead or a Standard Edition. The second thing is, we did sell, and we've been part of some sales on Steam already. So should they receive something which is that the bundle people shouldn't receive? Or where do you draw the line? Because it starts to get quite fuzzy. Where are you a true, in inverted commas, supporter of Interstellar Marines? When you paid $40 for your game? When you paid $35 for it? When you paid $30? Where's the line? There isn't. It's not clear. There's nothing in there that you can say, that is the line. The third thing is that there's been quite a number of people on Indiegala who have bought at much higher prices. I think there's somebody on there that's bought at something like $1,600. Now, should he be penalised? Should the people who paid $200 be penalised? $100 be penalised? Again, it comes back to there being no clear-cut answer and no clear-cut level where you can say yes, no. At this stage, we haven't decided what we're going to do because we haven't sat down and done the retrospective. We are concentrating on getting Update 9 out, and once we get that out, then we will sit down together and kind of go, okay, we fucked up, we screwed up, we screwed the pooch, we screwed everybody's pooch. We made a catastrophic mistake, and the mistake was made by us. Is there any way that we can rectify that in the eyes of our community? Or is it simply going to be a question of working hard over the next few months to get things back on track, to get back to the same level we were with our community on Tuesday of this week, and just carry on like that? We'll sit down, we'll do the retrospective, and when we've done that, we'll let you know what came of that. So that's the challenging, negative, difficult portion of this week. But the next part, the second part of this, is going to be all about Update 9. Now, the reason why I've not used a green screen for this video this week is because I wanted to show you this, which is more or less the finished version of Update 9. Now, it's not out at the moment. I am recording this on Saturday morning. We expect to release this on Monday unless there's any massive bugs found. Don't think there'll be any. We found them all on Thursday and Friday, and the only reason we didn't release on Friday was because We've had a situation in the past where we've released on a Friday, ended up with a critical bug, and then that's messed everyone's game up for the weekend. So rather than doing that, we're going to release it on Monday, again, assuming nothing particularly drastic's been found. Now, I guess the first thing for you people who play the game before will know, level 2.0. So I'll just quickly load that. I'm not going to show you all of this, for the simple reason I want to keep some of it for you, but I will quickly show you a little bit about the spectate mode, which, as you can see, lets you run around. If you notice, if I look up or I look down, I'm still going in the same direction, more or less. If I hit left control and I look down and look up and look like that, I can slow down, I can speed up. If there were any players in here, I would be able to do third person and first person with them. And when you see the update video come out, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll see there's a lot of that kind of footage in there. But I spent, what, 2-3 hours on Friday, 2-3 hours on Thursday playing with this, and it is awesome. It is such a superb piece of kit. And Benjamin and Michael have done a cracking job with this. So I'm going to come out of that. I'm just going to take you through some of the other maps in a sec. Because this is update 9 and you guys don't have access to it, we don't have any servers up at the moment because the devs are all at the weekend. They are having some much needed rest after being put through the ringer last week. But you'll see some of that up. You'll also see here join and spec button, so join and spectate. You will need a password to join as a spectator for a particular server. We're doing that to make sure that when we're casting competitive games, that people can't just go in and say, oh look, Bullseye's hanging around the corner, go and shoot him. So just make sure that doesn't happen. The sandbox has not that much changed, elevation, evacuation, but there's one thing I want to show you, and I hope that the camera shows it on here. That's one of the new views. And if there's something that you think is different, it's because everything's moving. We now have, oops, I'll go upwards. We now have wind effects, and they vary depending on the particular time of day and the stage that the map's on. And as you can see, one of the nice things about this is you can do that. And when you've got people actually, it's now black, which is typical. But when you've got a lot of people playing on here, doing spectator mode, if you're a caster or a video creator, makes it so much better. And you can kind of see just how awesome these maps look when you're this high up. And then you start going down, you can zip down into the action. One of the other things as well is when you are in first person, there is it doesn't clip into walls. So if for example, if I go through there, I can clip straight through. If you are first person tracking somebody, it doesn't do that. Come out of there, and I will just want to quickly show you a little bit about the new controller. Now, if you on update, for example, on the 8, for example, if you go left and right like this, you'll notice that the reticule and the whole thing actually do almost like a jump up. And it makes it a little bit difficult if you are wanting to strafe. Now, it's much smoother. Look at the reticule, look how it stays more or less level and only moves with the built-in sway. We've also changed the sounds, so you can hear some of the new sounds. We've also changed the reload, and in the update video there'll be a third-person example of how that reload works. If you look down and you run and you do that, you'll see that your feet no longer continue walking as you jump. And it does that a little bit in third person, but it's not too hunky-dory at the moment. We'll improve on that in the future. So yeah, there's a lot of under the cover, under the HUD kind of changes. The character controller in particular may not look like much on first view, but in the future it means we can now start adding weapons, attachments, gadgets. All of that stuff has been waiting for the character controller to be done. And it's taken a good 4 or 5 months. It has taken a long time. Also, it allows the new animations to come in as well. So all that work that Ronnie's got prepared will now start to come into future updates. We've slightly altered the distance of the reticule and the weapon from your eye when you are in zoomed in mode like this, just to make it a little easier. And we've done a lot of work on things such as clipping and also on map glitches as well. We've filled in quite a number of those map glitches. So that's kind of a quick look at update 9. It's we really wanted it out last week, we really did, but we're not going to release an update that is known to be buggy, because that's not fair on you, it's also not fair on us. And that's why we've pushed it back into Monday, and I'm 99.9% sure, unless something catastrophically goes wrong, it'll come out on Monday. Update 10, I think realistically we are looking at somewhere towards the end of March, but update 10 is actually much larger than update 9. It is going to be a very substantial update, so I suspect it'll be more like the end of March. But we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later on. So that's some information on update 9. I hope you enjoyed that. It is, yeah, it's a good update. As I say, I spent a lot of time with the spectator mode. I really have, and I just love this thing to bits. I cannot wait to start casting games with this. It's going to be absolutely fucking awesome. And yes, that's it for this week. As always, if you have enjoyed this video, please like it, and if you've really enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. I put out these kind of unofficial community manager videos on a semi-regular basis, or at least I'm trying to, as much as time permits, and I try to put information in them that you won't generally find elsewhere, because it's not an official ZPS communication. It is something I do myself in my time, and is not seen, approved, or commented on by ZPS before it goes out. So that's it, guys. Enjoy your gaming. Take care.